The comedy of creation, from grumpy trees to overworked bees. I celebrate me, the spark of it all, from the towering oak to the ant so small. A drop of rain, a star's faint gleam were threads in the fabric, the cosmic dream. I am the lion, fierce and free, and the quiet mouse beneath the tree. I am the cactus, sharp yet shy, and the moth drawn to the night-lit sky. I laugh with the rivers, wild and wide. I dance with the waves and the shifting tide. The clouds, my poets, write on the blue. The winds hum tunes only old oaks knew. I'm the seed in the soil, waiting to grow, and the flame in the hearth, soft in its glow. I'm the crow with its clever, mischievous glance, and the flower that sways in a bee's slow dance. In every breath I hear the call. You are not one. You're part of it all. I am the soil, the root, the fruit. I am the violin and the strumming lute. Oh, but let's not forget my humorous side. I'm the squirrel who'll forget where its acorns hide. I'm the dandelion, resilient and bold, sneaking through cracks to add some gold. I am the snail, slow but sure, and the owl whose silence is wisdom's cure. The plant who twists for a drop of light, and the stars who wink through the velvet night. I am mistakes. I am perfection, a curious swirl of imperfection. I am joy, I am pain, the drought and the long-awaited rain. So here's to me and here's to you, to all that's living, old and new. A wild orchestra, a symphony, I celebrate all, and I celebrate me. Part 1. The Foundations of Life, Chapter 1. The Grumpy Oak. I've been around for 300 years, and trust me, I've seen it all. Humans, squirrels, pigeons. It's like a never-ending sitcom. And I'm the grumpy old landlord everyone takes for granted. They call me Old Oak. Creative, huh? Nothing screams originality like naming a tree after itself. But that's humans for you, lazy with names and even lazier with gratitude. I mean, I've been standing in this spot for centuries, giving them shade, clean air, and a picturesque backdrop for their selfies. And what do I get in return? Squirrels in my branches, initials carved into my bark. And don't even get me started on the pigeons. Oh, the pigeons. The squirrel situation. Let's start with the squirrels. Those neurotic little furballs have been burying acorns in my roots for generations, only to forget where they put them 5 minutes later. One squirrel, let's call him Jerry, is particularly bad at it. Just this morning, I overheard him in a full-blown panic. Where's the acorn? I swear I buried it right here. Is it gone? Did someone steal it? Jerry, buddy, no one's stealing your acorns. They're not gold bars. But does he listen? Of course not. He's too busy accusing the Blue Jays of running a black market operation. It's like living in a soap opera. And don't think I enjoy having them around. Ever had someone climb all over you with tiny, scratchy claws? It's like an itchy nightmare I can't wake up from. The humans and their eternal need to express themselves. Now, humans, they're the real pests. You think squirrels are bad? Try having someone carve Brad plus Jenny forever into your skin. Excuse me, Brad and Jenny, but your eternal love is not my problem. And spoiler alert, you broke up 3 months later. How do I know? Jenny came back with Kevin and carved over Brad's name. Classy move, Jenny. Real classy. But the worst part? They never clean up after themselves. I'm surrounded by soda cans, candy wrappers, and whatever else they couldn't be bothered to carry back to their cars. One time, someone left a yoga mat at my base. A yoga mat. I don't know what they were expecting. Inner peace? Enlightenment? A good Instagram photo? Because all they left behind was a family of raccoons who now think they own the place. The pigeon love triangle. Oh, and let's not forget the pigeons. These winged freeloaders roost in my branches, poop on my roots, and occasionally dive bomb unsuspecting picnickers. Last summer, 2 pigeons, Gary and Rita, decided to take their relationship to the next level and build a nest. Cute, right? Except Gary couldn't commit. So what does he do? He starts flirting with a plastic bag caught in my branches. You're so light, he cooed. So free, you're not like other pigeons. Gary, it's a bag. But did that stop Rita from declaring war? No, it did not. For weeks, she dive-bombed Gary every time he got close to the bag. Eventually, the wind carried the bag away, and Gary acted like he'd lost the love of his life. What about me? Now I know what you're thinking. Old Oak, you're being dramatic. You're a tree. Life can't be that bad. Really? Try standing in one spot for centuries while everyone treats you like a piece of furniture. People lean on me, tie swings to my branches, and occasionally try to chop me down. Last year, some guy tried to propose under me with a string of fairy lights. Romantic, right? Except he forgot to take them down. Now I look like a bad Christmas decoration. And don't even get me started on the weather. Summer? Blazing heat while people crowd under me for shade. Winter? Freezing winds while I stand here naked. And spring? Oh, spring is the worst. Pollen. Everywhere. You think humans are the only ones allergic to pollen? Newsflash. It's my own pollen and it's still itchy. But sometimes they surprise me. I'll admit, though, every now and then, humans do something that almost makes up for the chaos. Like the little kid who hugged me last week and said, "You're my favorite tree." For a moment, I forgot about the squirrels, the pigeons, and even Jenny's terrible life choices. That kid reminded me why I do what I do. Because despite it all, I'm part of something bigger. The squirrels bury their acorns, and sometimes they grow into new trees. The pigeons, and their questionable love triangles, spread seeds wherever they go. And humans, well, they're a mess, but they're my mess. A final thought. So yeah, life as an oak tree isn't exactly peaceful. But it's never boring either. And as much as I complain, I wouldn't trade it for anything. Well, except maybe a squirrel-free branch or two. And if you're ever in the park and see a squirrel screaming about stolen acorns or a pigeon romancing a plastic bag, just remember, you're standing under old oak, and I've seen it all. Chapter 2. Squirrel Problems. You think being a squirrel is easy? Try living every day like it's a heist movie, except you're the star, the crew, and the guy who forgets where the loot is buried. Let me introduce myself. I'm Jerry, just a regular squirrel, trying to survive in a world where acorns are currency, pigeons are thieves, and trees are unreliable landlords. I'm looking at you, old oak. Every day I wake up with one mission: stash enough acorns to survive winter without losing my mind. Spoiler alert, I'm failing miserably at both. The Great Acorn Conspiracy. First, let's talk about acorns. Humans see them as cute little nuts that crunch underfoot. For me, they're life itself. Each one is a potential meal, a symbol of security, a tiny brown hope for the future. I hoard them like a dragon hoards gold, or at least I try to. The problem is, I have the memory of a soggy piece of bread. I bury acorns everywhere, under bushes, near fences, even in flower pots. Humans love that. And then, poof, gone. It's like my brain decides to delete the map as soon as I've buried the treasure. I spend hours retracing my tiny steps, frantically digging holes and coming up empty-pawed. Is this it? No, that's a rock. What about here? Nope, just dirt. Wait, was that? No, another rock. Who put all these rocks here? I'm convinced someone's messing with me. Probably Gary the pigeon. He's always watching, always judging. The pigeon problem, Gary? Let me tell you about pigeons. They act all innocent, cooing and strutting around like they own the park. But deep down, they're criminals. I once caught Gary trying to roll an acorn out of my stash with his beak. When I confronted him, he just stared at me and said, "What? Finders keepers." Finders keepers? That's my acorn, Gary. I buried it. Sure, I forgot where, but still, it's the principle of the thing. And don't even get me started on his gang. They hang out near the trash cans, plotting their next move, while Gary pretends to be my friend. "Hey, Jerry," he says. "Want to share some of those acorns?" No, Gary. I don't want to share. You can't just waltz in here and take what's mine. Go find your own nuts. My greatest fear, but pigeons aren't my biggest problem. No, my greatest fear, the thing that keeps me awake at night, is the possibility that winter will come, and I'll have nothing. Zero. Nada. Do you know what it's like to wake up in January starving and realize you buried all your food under 3 feet of frozen ground? It's the stuff of squirrel nightmares. And yes, we have nightmares. Mine usually involve giant acorns rolling away from me while I run in slow motion. Or worse, Gary laughing as he flies away with my entire stash. The day I lost everything. Let me tell you about the time I hit rock bottom. Last fall, I spent weeks collecting the perfect acorns. Plump, smooth, no weird bugs inside. I buried them all under old oak, thinking it was the safest spot in the park. Big mistake. One day I came back ready for a snack and found holes. Dozens of them. Someone, probably another squirrel, had ransacked my stash. I looked up at old oak, desperate for answers. "Where are my acorns?" I shouted. Old oak just grumbled. "How should I know? I'm a tree, not a security guard. Not helpful, Oak. Not helpful at all. The squirrel code. You'd think squirrels would have some kind of honor system, a squirrel code, if you will. But no, it's every rodent for themselves out here. If I find someone else's stash, you bet I'm taking it. Survival comes first. Morals come second. Still, I like to imagine there's a parallel universe where squirrels are civilized. Maybe we have tiny banks where we deposit our acorns, or a buddy system where we watch each other's stashes. But in this world, it's chaos. Pure nutty chaos. Humans don't help and humans? Don't even get me started. They think we're cute, tossing us crumbs from their sandwiches like we're some kind of charity case. Listen, Karen, I don't need your gluten-free bread. What I need is for you to stop raking leaves over my acorns. And then there are the helpful humans who put out bird feeders. Bird feeders. Where's the squirrel feeder, huh? Last week, I tried climbing one of those contraptions, only to be flung halfway across the park by some kind of spinning mechanism. Oh, look at the silly squirrel, the humans laughed. Yeah, real funny, Diane. I'm glad my humiliation entertained your toddler. A squirrel's silver lining, but it's not all bad. Sometimes I stumble across an old stash I'd completely forgotten about, and it feels like finding buried treasure. There's no better feeling than unearthing a perfect acorn on a crisp autumn morning. It's like the universe is saying, "Here, Jerry, you deserve this." And despite the stress, the pigeons, and my terrible memory, I wouldn't trade this life for anything. Because being a squirrel isn't just about hoarding acorns, it's about the thrill of the chase, the joy of digging, and the satisfaction of knowing that, at the end of the day, I've done my best to prepare for whatever winter throws my way. So if you see me out there, frantically digging holes and shouting at pigeons, just remember, I'm not crazy. I'm a squirrel, and this is my life. Chapter 3. Ant Agonizing Tasks. Colony life isn't glamorous. Sure, we're known for our hard work and teamwork, but let me tell you the truth. It's chaos. Absolute chaos. And don't even get me started on the Queen. First, let me introduce myself. I'm Anton. Yes, that's my name. Original, huh? Worker Ant 672 to be exact. My entire life revolves around digging tunnels, carrying crumbs 10 times my body weight, and following orders that make no sense. It's a glamorous life, except it's not. Colony life, the ups and downs. You've probably heard all those motivational quotes about ants. Ants never give up. Ants can carry 50 times their weight. Yeah. You know what ants really are? Overworked, underpaid, and stuck in a system where one fat monarch sits on her throne while the rest of us bust our mandibles to keep things running. The Queen. Oh, the Queen. She lounges around all day, laying eggs like it's some kind of art form. Meanwhile, we're out here dodging human feet and carrying crumbs back to the colony like it's the Holy Grail. Does she thank us? No, she just says, "More eggs, please." And don't even get me started on the soldier ants. Big, strong, and as smart as a bag of dirt. They're supposed to protect us, but half the time, they're just flexing their mandibles and showing off. Last week, one of them tried to fight a beetle twice his size. Did he win? Of course not. We all had to scramble to drag him back before he got squished. Heroic? Sure. Intelligent? Not even close. Humans, the lazy giants, and then there are the humans, the slow, lumbering giants who think the world revolves around them. Watching humans work is like watching a snail compete in a marathon. They move so slowly. One of them took 5 minutes to pick up a single piece of bread. 5 minutes! I could have carried that crumb back to the colony, eaten it, and started on dessert in the time it took them to helpfully drop it on the ground. Humans also waste so much food. Do you know what I'd give for a single potato chip? Meanwhile, they toss entire sandwiches in the trash. It's like they're saying, "Here, ants, take our leftovers." Oh, we'll take them all right. We've got a whole army ready to swarm the second something hits the ground. You drop a cupcake? That's our Super Bowl. But I'll give humans one thing. Their laziness works in our favor. Ever leave your picnic blanket for 2 minutes and come back to find it swarming with ants? That's us. We don't waste time. The second you look away, boom, your sandwich is ours. You snooze, you lose, buddy. Tunnel drama now. Let's talk about tunnels. Building tunnels is a full-time job. And do we get blueprints or instructions? Nope. It's just, dig here, no, dig there, actually dig somewhere else. Half the time we're bumping into each other, dropping dirt on someone's head, and arguing over whose tunnel is straighter. And don't think it's all fun and games underground. Last week, Larry, poor Larry, got stuck carrying a crumb twice his size through the narrowest tunnel in the colony. He was wedged in there for hours, shouting, "A little help, guys?" Did anyone help him? No. We just stood there debating whether the crumb was worth the trouble. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. The egg assembly line. Oh, and let's not forget egg duty. Sometimes I get assigned to babysit the eggs. Let me tell you, there is nothing more mind-numbing than staring at a pile of squishy, motionless eggs all day. Every 5 minutes, you have to move them around so they stay warm. Why? I don't know. It's just what we're told to do. And if one egg hatches, oh boy, it's like someone rang the alarm. Suddenly, everyone's shouting, "We've got a larva! We've got a larva!" Great. Another mouth to feed. Another future worker ant to join the assembly line of misery. Natural disasters, aka humans. Humans aren't just lazy giants, they're also destructive. Ever seen a kid with a magnifying glass? Let's just say it's not fun. One time, a human decided to flood our colony with their garden hose. "It'll be funny," they said. No, Karen, it's not funny. It's a natural disaster. It took us 3 days to rebuild, and we're still missing half our tunnels. And don't get me started on pesticides. One day, you're minding your business, carrying a crumb back to the colony, and the next, you're dodging a spray of toxic death. What did we ever do to deserve that? We're just trying to live our tiny little lives, Karen. A day in the life. Here's what my day usually looks like. 1. Wake up. 2. Get assigned a random task by some bossy ant who's been in charge for exactly 5 minutes. 3. Spend the next 8 hours carrying crumbs, digging tunnels, or babysitting eggs. 4. Dodge human feet, rogue beetles, and clueless soldier ants. 5. Collapse in a heap of exhaustion, only to do it all over again tomorrow. It's not glamorous, but it's life. And honestly, I wouldn't trade it for anything. There's something satisfying about knowing that no matter how small I am, I'm part of something bigger. Sure, the queen is a tyrant, and the soldiers are clueless, but we're a colony. And at the end of the day, we get the job done. So the next time you see an ant carrying a crumb twice its size, give us a little respect. We may be small, but we're mighty. And if you leave your sandwich unattended, well, let's just say you've been warned.